Hello friends, how are you? I hope that you are all doing very well. Welcome to my channel, Terra and Cognition. Today I'm going to do a reading about the United States in April 2022, 2022. I'm going to use these two decks. This is the Rider Waite and this is the Hanson-Roberts. And for clarifications, I'm going to use the Futhark runes. Okay, I have the spread here because I've done this reading already in Spanish. For those of you who are who have been in my channel before, I've been gone for a little bit before because of mostly technological things, but I hope that they are solved and that I can be here more frequently. So let's start with the first card. This card represents the rising sign, so it represents how the United States is seen from abroad. I think that this was like this. This card is talking about theft. Okay, you can see that this guy is stealing things from the encampment. By the way, I have this already here because I've done the reading in Spanish, so the card's already here. So this guy is stealing things from this encampment, but when it's reversed, he is discovered. So what does it mean for the United States and how it's going to be seen from abroad during April 2022? So it seems that there are going to be discoveries that have to do with justice, regarding corruption, regarding the use of resources, probably. Maybe it has to do with the occupation of the capital on January the 6th. Maybe that's what it is. So the world is going to be looking at news related to the discovery of things related to corruption. And they are looking at that, okay? The second card represents money, the money that regular people have. And we have the King of Swords reversed. Kings are action. Queens are planning. So the kings put into action whatever it is that the queens are planning. This is a King of Swords. So it's a king of thoughts, of plans, of policies, but he's reversed. It means that this king is unable to put into action anything that the queens have been doing, have been planning, or he's unable to do it properly. So when it comes to money, what it means is that the regular citizen does not have means or ways of controlling their money. So it's not a good situation in which you see that the flow of money or how you can control your money is not very clear for you. So this is not a good card for this position because it talks a little bit about desperation. The following card is communications. It can also be public transportation. And we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands have 3 pentacles here that are black. So this may be talking about black money. We are talking about communications or news related to black money or money and corruption. May have to do with this. And maybe with this. And I asked for clarification and I got this card from the Hanson-Roberts deck. This is the the Knight of Pentacles reversed. The Knight of Pentacles, like every night, they are talking about moving. This one, moving forward. Also communications or news that come to you. Because this one is the Pentacles, is talking about communications dealing with money, with resources, which is really what we have here. This is money and people that have profited from the use of whatever it is that they know how to do. They have profited from it. So we're talking probably again about corruption, okay, black money. And I got here to Futhark runes. This is Pedro, and this is Ansus. This is the rune of communications. And this is a rune that can talk about things that are discovered from above. Like it's the moment for these things to come out. Okay. So we're going to be hearing news about more corruption. This card has to do with housing and with the housing market. And it's a Page of Wands. Pages are news. Wands are work. this is in the position of housing. So it's news, but it's also moving forward. So I think that the housing market is going to be moving forward in a positive manner, mostly, or not mostly, but it's going to, because we have here ones, this is going to be related to work, to people that are moving from one place to another because of work. And therefore, there is going to be more of a need of renting or buying houses in different places. So the workforce is moving from one place to another. You may have already heard about the Great Resignation, a process by which a huge number of workers are quitting their jobs, approximately 68 million people. And many of them are not even changing jobs. They're just quitting altogether and never coming back. Maybe they're changing jobs or organizing their work life at home in a different manner, and that requires moving from to a different place and things like that. Okay, so the next card has to do with the public education system. Okay, and we have the devil reversed. In the devil we have these two guys that are attached to the devil by chains, but these chains are very loose, so they could release themselves, but still they don't do it. They're bound to something because of ignorance, because of lack of understanding. So what happens is that the education system in the United States is, at least the public education system up to high school, is known to be useless and inefficient all over the world. There are videos on YouTube about how people asking American questions about their own country or general knowledge and showing that people are really ignorant. But there are also videos of regular people being asked things and they don't know basic stuff from the United States or from abroad. It means that we have a group of people, a lot of people in the United States that are very ignorant and they can be taken advantage of. We have seen this with these people protesting with their trucks, going to Canada, and then being asked, like, why are you protesting against COVID restrictions when they are not affecting you? And they have these cuckoo ideas that are not related to basically anything that exists. Okay, so there are videos, you can check them on internet. So public education is going to continue like that. It doesn't have to be like that, but it benefits the politicians. Okay, they want to have a labor force that is uneducated, that they cannot tell a lie from truth, and basically they just follow their leaders blindly. The next card has to do with work, and it's related to this thing. It's the death card. Death means change, and it's a major arcana, so it's major changes. But it's reversed, so nothing changes in the job market. We know that there have been, for a while, there have been more jobs available, but are they good jobs? Not really. Yeah, they have increased a little bit the salary, but prices have increased much more than that. So we are worse than we were 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 20 years ago, okay? If we look at a regular student that is living in university right now, they used to be able to become independent and move out of their parents' homes, and with the university studies, with the new degree that they got, they would get a job and be able to pay their debts. But now it's not that clear. Houses are getting more expensive because the big companies, for a while, the ones that are billionaires, they are buying houses, regular houses, and then reselling them. So they're increasing the price of houses artificially beyond the reach of regular people. So regular people see that they're being moved out of the market because of the very, very rich. Okay? And so they are like, why am I working for a company if no matter what I do, I cannot even afford my house? So the big resignation, the great resignation that is happening is because of all these things. People are frustrated and they work and they don't get anything from it. So they better not work or find another way of surviving. Maybe just grow your own food. Okay. The next card has to do with relationships with other countries. And the United States is going to be showing leadership during this month. I believe that this has to do with the Ukraine war, the invasion, the Russia invasion of Ukraine. So we have here this person with the Nine of Pentacles. This is a rich person. You know, the United States is the richest country on earth, and with most resources. And this is a card also of leadership and using your resources, in this case for good. And people from other countries are going to be looking at the United States as a leader and as a guide, someone who guides them during this moment. Okay. Then we have the stock exchange, and I think that because of these things that we've seen, there seems to be arguments among the very rich, which are going to influence the stock exchange, and there may be an instability. The very rich, I got these two cards for clarifications, the King of Pentacles and this one that is the Ten of Swords reversed. And these two runes, Fehu and Odila. This is a rune of money and resources and wealth. Fehu, which means cattle, and this one is a rune of inheritance, okay, of money that comes from your parents and your grandparents, because the rich are a very close-knit family. You cannot get into that group. Even if we live under the illusion that we can, that if you work and study, you can become rich. The reality for 99.9999999999999% of the population is that that is not going to happen to you, unless you are born already in this group of people, within this family of very, very rich people. Okay? So there are going to be some disagreements in between them, which are going to cause instability, maybe because of the discovery of this corruption and people using their influence for bad things. Okay? So that may influence the stock exchange and cause problems within that group and therefore instability. The next one has to do with immigration, also with foreign commerce, but I asked for additional cards for clarification, and I got the Sun and the Queen of Rods. And this is a card of endings, but is at the same time. So because I wanted a clarification, I asked, okay, is this about Ukraine? And I got these two cards, which are positive cards, which means, yes, this is about Ukraine. So the United States is looking for a way to end the war, the invasion of Ukraine. And I have to do a reading about this to see if it's this month when this thing is going to stop or not. But there is the possibility of an ending here in things related to Ukraine. If the war doesn't stop, another thing that it can indicate is that, you know, that in government is created by many different governments. It's not just the federal government, it's a government in every state. And you know that there is opposition from some states to spend money related to Ukraine, particularly from Republican states. You know, many of them are bound to Russia. They have been for a while. They have been receiving money from Russia. We know that during the 2016 elections, there have already been a lot of people sent to jail because of their trying to modify the elections and using Russian spies and Russian money to do that. Okay, so it's not just indictments. There are people that have been already sent to jail because of that, even during Trump's government. So, I mean, it's pretty clear that Russia has been here for a while, and it's still here. And some people like Trump, they are still calling Russia to help him. He just did that. You can check the news. The next one is government. So I have to do a reading about this by itself. Okay. The next one is government, and I have the Nine of Wands reversed. The Nine of Wands, this is a guy who has been working for a while, and you know that he has a bandage on his head, around his head. So he has achieved this stability that you can see here. This is a very straight, flat floor where he's standing. So he's reached stability because of hard work. But when we reverse it, he loses this stability and he falls. And so the government is going to be in an unstable situation. You know, there are not only fights with the Republican Party, there have been extremism going on in the government in the United States for a while. We have both parties are right parties. They are not left parties. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe some people within the Democratic Party may be considered left, but most people are right or far right. Now, when we go to the Republicans, they would be considered fascists in other countries. Okay. But here the Democrats are considered left, whatever. There's really no left, no functional left in the United States. There may be a little center, but most people are right. Okay. So, we have here these disagreements card, not only with the two parties, but also within the parties. We know that there are two people in particular within the Democratic Party who have been behaving like, if they were Republicans instead of Democrats. Okay. So we have two people in the Senate within the Democratic Party that are deserters. Okay. The King of Pentacles, this is for, things related to social services. As I've mentioned before, kings are actions. They put into action things that have been planned by the queens. But this one is reversed. And this one has to do with money. So it means that there's not going to be a lot of investment in things related to public health or public services. Okay. And if there is something done, it's going to be to damage rather than to help. So these things are really not moving. Okay. I think that a lot of the resources are being used for this international conflict, for the Ukrainian war, and that's what they're focusing on, and they're putting all their efforts on, and if they're leaving everything on the side, everything else on the side. Finally, the final position here is for things that are bad for the country, like natural disasters, and I got here temperance. It's in Spanish. I was going to say temperance. It's temperance. So it's a major arcana that has to do with communication. It also has to do with Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a sign associated with the foreign world, foreign countries, foreign people. Also, higher education. So there are going to be discussions and conversations dealing with that, probably with the Russia thing, with the Russia invading Ukraine issue, and that's going to be the most conflict related thing affecting the United States. Instead of being more like hurricanes and things like that, it's more things related to the Ukrainian war. That is going to be the biggest conflict. That doesn't mean that there are not going to be tornadoes or that there are not going to be flooding someplace in the United States. Yes, there is, but the most the thing that is going to cause the most conflict is this the war and the participation of the United States in this war somehow, even if it's in an indirect matter. Then the next one is for the COVID thing that has been going on for a while, and that's a good card. The Seven of Wands. It's a card in which this guy has opposition. See, all these wands are opposing him, but he's standing on a higher ground, so he can defend himself well. So it means that even if there are obstacles and there are going to be ups and downs in the COVID thing during this month of April, he's going to be able to defeat successfully these obstacles. So it's a card of you have to keep on working and you will achieve success if you continue working. As a summary of the month of April, we have the High Priest, or the Hierophant, reversed. This card is a card of hierarchy. You can see this guy with power in the center with these two disciples listening to him, but it's reversed. So the ones that are now here on top are the disciples. So this is a situation in which the ones that don't know, the ones that are ignorant, those are the ones that are saying and talking. So this is in education, okay? People, educate yourselves. And in order to educate yourselves, it's not like turn on TV and just watch the same programs that you've been watching all the time. Watch other channels, read things. So if you want to learn about science, read scientific work. Don't watch Fox News or CNN. Read some scientific work. Don't go to people telling you what to think. Because if you look at the news, especially the vocabulary that they use, if they use a lot of adjectives in which they're telling you already their opinion, they don't say, for example, there was an accident on the highway. Imagine that a male motorist is driving north in his car on a county road, and suddenly a deer jumps from the right side of the road and hits him. So he loses control, swerves into the left lane, and crashes against a car coming in the opposite direction. Okay? So if the news reporter, instead of telling this objectively, tells me that a man driving recklessly on the wrong side of the road caused an accident, this is clearly an interpretation of the news. It's not objective. It's evaluative, okay? So they're telling you already how to think. So using words like recklessly, caused, or wrong, they are not reporting the news. They're imposing their view on you, okay? On the viewer or the reader. So I would run away from news sites where they are already giving me their evaluation and telling me how to think, okay? Because they're trying to manipulate you. Also, one has to be careful with the selection of particular pieces of news. Well, some news are avoided, okay? Some pieces of news are avoided. So be careful with all those things. And now most news channels are owned by big corporations. So use your brain, okay? So that's what's happening in the country. The country is being ruled by emotions. People don't know who to follow. This is like a summary also of the reading, and we have the Queen of Wands. Oh, remember Queen's plan. And this Queen is planning things related to work, okay? Or to creation of things, because it's Wands. But we don't know exactly what it is because we haven't seen the King doing it yet. There's some planning going on. Maybe the government is thinking, because this is work also, maybe the government is thinking about what to do with the job market, what to do with the people that are quitting their jobs, what to do with drivers who don't earn enough money. I mean, it's not compensating them anymore to work for any company. And then we're having problems with supply chains. So there's been thought put into this, like, well, how do we solve this problem? And then we have this card of making a decision about something. What are these decisions about? I don't know. It may be probably because of Ukraine things. Some decisions have to be made because of this, because it seems that it's the only thing that is moving in this reading, okay? So either the discovery of corruption or the Ukraine war. That's mostly the decisions that are going to be made or taken during this month. Okay, so this is a reading. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. If you like my channel, please feel free to subscribe. And I hope that you are all doing very well, that you are not affected by the Ukrainian war, that you have work and that you have money and a good house. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.